The music that goes with it is called Tianshui, a local opera well known in China for its deafening singing style. If you visit the region around Chinese New Year, you'll find these puppet shows staged at the entrance of many villages. They really do draw a crowd. They're cheap, exciting, and warm people's hearts in the middle of the winter. Winter is not the best time to visit. The region is famed for its rare vegetation, and you won't want to see much of it in the cold wind. But you could see another beauty, a stern landscape that still exhibits a stoic life force.
Each autumn, the local farmers pile up haystacks like this. The roof is shaped like this so that the rainfall will go down without soaking up the inside of the stack. If the stack gets soaked, the cattle won't eat it. It's the food for the cattle for winter. It's also the namesake of one of the greatest grattles in China, Maijishan.
Few people come to visit Maijishan in the winter, and the advantage of that is you more or less have the place to yourself.
The highest cave at Maijishan Grotto is 80 meters up, high on the cliff. So, if you have serious heart problems, or you're afraid of heights, or you're drunk, you'd better stay down here. Don't come up with me. Wow, that's something really amazing. Look at the huge sculpture over there on the cliff. Thousands of years ago, when the pilgrims came over here and they saw a huge statue looking down at them from the cliff, the feeling must have been overwhelming.
Even though I'm not a pilgrim, this place is overwhelming. Most of the pilgrims of the past were Silk Road traders hoping for a safe journey. They must have really needed to pray because grottos flourished along the route and a great deal of effort was expended on them. Building grottos was a Buddhist tradition based on the story that Sakyamuni became a Buddha after a long time of meditation practiced in a grotto. The sheer height of the place can make you feel dizzy. You do have to watch your step if you come when there's been a snowfall. The three huge Buddhist reliefs are like hallmarks of Maijishan. The Buddha sitting in the center is 16 meters high. These three are 1,400 years old.
You might wonder how was such a gigantic project completed over 1,000 years ago. Actually, the process goes like this. People would log the forest downhill and pile the logs up to the top of the cliff, and they would work right on the logs. And when the project was complete, they'd take the logs away.
It sounds a little bit like the way the ancient Egyptians built their pyramids. This kind of mural is unique to Maijishan. You just can't find this light touch anywhere else. It's a combination of painting and very light relief. The problem is that the wet weather and frequent earthquake have taken their toll.
The caves was built following the styles of residential buildings of the time. You can see it from these roofs. The roof also protected the statues from being eroded by wind and rain. That's why you can still see them 1,000 years later.
There are about 400 grottos and 8,000 earthen sculptures remaining in Maijishan. But not all the grottos are open for tourists. They span 12 dynasties and reflect the twists and turns of the art over that time. Many of the figures were made from clay built around a rock core. The grotto also enjoys a reputation of being an Oriental earthen sculpture museum. You can find different styles of different times in the same grotto. Take a look at how the clothing and hairstyles vary and the way the architecture changes. You can also find examples of the ideal aesthetic: slim, tilted arm and eyes, and small mouth.
Do not disturb the Buddhas. Walking in here, you got the feeling that time is frozen and you forget where you are. It's like you get yourself lost in this world of art.
You should hire a tour guide in Maijishan. Use a local travel agency to book a guide. They can fill you in on the details and stories behind the grottos.
Another spectacle near Tianshui is Daxiangshan, a mountain where all kinds of Chinese gods are worshipped. It's 2 hours drive west of Tianshui in Gangu County.
I'm sure there's a reason that they built the temple so high on the mountain. If you don't want to make the effort to see the Buddha for yourself, you'd better not to come.
Here on this mountain, there are temples worshipping gods of different domains. These gods each have their own specialist areas, such as medicine, carpentry, wealth, and even birth. But for travelers, the must-see Buddha is Sakyamuni, sitting halfway up the mountain. He looks so amiable and contented, smiling a little bit like this. The face of the Buddha is actually much bigger than what you can see from down here, and there's an interesting story about it. Once upon a time, there was a merchant who promised to repaint the face of the Buddha with gold. It turns out the gold he prepared was far from enough. In the end, a compromise was made, and the mustache of the Buddha was painted twice as big as it should be. The statue was 23 meters high, and from the limited viewpoints at his foot, you can always see him smiling an amiable smile. The ratio of the head to the body is different from that of a normal person, because the designers thought about how it would be seen when it was finished. Construction started on the huge statue about 1,300 years ago, and records show the project took 300 years to complete. The last grotto on our trip is hidden deep in the mountains to the west of Tianshui. To get there, we leave the fine yellow earth behind and hit the gravel. If you came here a few hundred years ago, there was a small temple perched over there, worshipping the Buddha. But now, the temple is gone, but the work of art is still here. The central figure is again Sakyamuni, and he's 41 meters high, taking up more than half of the whole cliff. Once again, the work was completed more than 1,000 years ago, and the reliefs are clay applied to a rock base. The colors have gently faded over time, but the remarkable skills of the workers remain vividly alive.
People call her Venus of the Oriental, and she's really very beautiful when you take a close look at her. When I stand here, all I feel is kind of dizzy. Despite the craftsmanship, I really admire the artists who lived thousands of years ago. They were so brave to come up here and make this work of art come true.
Conviction, patience, devotion, these are the traits the workers would have needed to complete this great work. There are a number of nature reserves around Naijishan where you can go camping, hiking, or horse riding. In winter, the beauty of the area really takes your breath away.
Tianshui, water from heaven, becomes snow from heaven in winter's time. Most of the people come around here in summer for the cool climate. But if you come around here in winter's time and run into such a beautiful snowfall, I think it's worth your while. This is Travelogue and I'm Liu Changying. I'll see you around.